Okay, what is going on, guys? In addition to our video we recorded for iOS 26.1 Beta 1, we obviously also got iPadOS 26.1 Beta 1, and you can see it came with a new splash screen showing that it's been completed and updated to 26.1. Once you hit complete, you'll get all your typical disclaimer information, and it's giving you the same run-through, same splash screen with everything new from iOS and watchOS as well as iPadOS 26. Once this launches, you're greeted with your welcome again, and you can just say get started, and here we are, back as we have been. Nothing crazy looks different here from the prior builds. This build with with iPadOS came in at 8.31 gigs, so somewhat large, and you might expect some new things here, but if watchOS and iPadOS as well as iOS show us anything, that might not be the case here. So jumping into settings, general, and about, this build now has a new build number of 23B5044I. So the I is significant because it's showing it's not quite ready, but it's not quite as far behind as being prepared and ready for public release as you might expect. This is going to be one of those beta cycles that will be bi-weekly at first, and then it will get on a weekly cycle later, as is typical for new releases. Having said all that, again, what's very interesting, and I'm going to actually pull it up right here on the air, when you actually go into the developer notes, iOS and iPadOS have the exact same beta release notes here. And take a look at this. I'm not going to read them all. You can pull them up at developer.apple.com, but this is it. For a 8 gig download, that is not very significant. More so, it's showing you that there's a lot of known issues and resolved issues, but only a few new features, as you can see here. It's kind of minimal for a .1 release. I really did expect something a little more to be coming from this. However, as long as there's a little better stability and everything, I am perfectly fine with that. So let's go into our stocks app, just do our typical song and dance, see how everything's actually operating, and see how smooth everything is. So you can see right here, everything seems to be working. Those animations look great. Liquid glass is still looking very smooth, much smoother than on my iPhone, which is still crazy to me. But that is definitely good to see here as well. I personally have not had a lot of issues with iPadOS at all on my iPad Pro here, the M4 variant. But let me know in the comments down below if you have. I'm personally just hoping for back-end tweaks and fixes here, simply because, like I said, I really didn't have that many issues to begin with. One thing I do want to look at here is actually going to be where our capacity is on our iPad storage. So this was a big deal for watchOS and actually more so iOS. My system data was taking up a ridiculous amount, almost 30 gigs on my 16 Pro Max, and it's finally down to 20 on this baby right here on the 17 Pro Max. And you can see with iPadOS, it is at 7.72 gigs, which is definitely much more understandable and reasonable. And then also iPadOS as a whole, Apple Intelligence is barely taking up any room at 177 megabytes. iPadOS as a whole is at 13.44, giving you that 13.61 total storage. So if you've been using this a lot, you know preview has not been great. It looks like there's a little new animation, or I haven't noticed it before, but just really jumping around some apps, everything does seem to be a little more fluid, and it is opening just a little better. I don't remember seeing that new game mode on UI here. It's always on my iPhone, but I don't recall seeing that here. Could just be me missing it, but let me know in the comments down below for that as well. You can see it is taking a little while to load this game and update. Not uncommon with this Supercell Clash Royale game. It should kick in right now. Yeah, so we're pretty good. Everything is launching. Let's try to resize this really quick. Oh, that's interesting. Looks like I can't go any smaller on that. So, okay, let's go ahead and launch like Amazon. There we go. Everything's resizing pretty well. Yeah, it's very fluid actually. So that's looking good also. So yeah, no new splash screens it looks like. Nothing really massively new that really stands out here in this build just yet. Not uncommon again, but for a 0.1 release, like I said, was hoping to see a little more. So I'm not going to drag this video out, guys. Let me know what you guys think in the comments down below. How is iPadOS working for you? Or are you excited to see this first beta drop? Thanks for watching. We'll catch you in the next one. Peace.